welcome once again to BEO Radio. This week for episode 5 with a very interesting subject. I'm pretty sure many of you know this mask, but I'm also pretty sure not many of you know the true history behind it. You see, back in the 17th century, there was this guy named Guy Fawkes. He attempted to murder the king and the monarchs of the era by placing gunpowder crates under one of the parliament buildings. Fortunately, Guy Fawkes was discovered before this could even happen, therefore stopped and sent straight to the Tower of London, which by the time was a prison. England hides many interesting stories, and today we're going over one of the most exciting ones from the 17th century. Have you ever heard of the Great Fire of London? Well, the Great Fire of London happened in 1666. It was this year when most of London burned down because of fire that was spreading out. It took 3 days for people at the time to control the fire, but by then, most of the city was burnt down. So keep posted as we're gonna analyze how London came through this crisis and became the city that we see today.
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Guy Fawkes.
The Great Fire of London.
Let's go back to 1666.
1666. That was quite some time ago, people. This is going to be a very interesting
The city
video.
of London. A different place than it is now. But even then, it was the centre of England's trade and finance.
Interestingly enough, they do mention that even then, I mean, London nowadays is not only, let's say, the center of trade for England, but the center of trade, I would say, even for the world. I don't know if you guys know, but 60% of global business goes through London every single day. So, I mean, this is simply amazing to see how such a city has managed to, keep growing through time and keep its stance and not fall for this many years. We're talking 400 years here.
In the wee small hours of Saturday, September the 2nd, a fire started in Pudding Lane, right about there. Most people think it started in Thomas Farriner's bakery.
So yeah, long story short, this huge fire started at a bakery.
Just think about it. A tiny spark pops from the bakery oven. It's the end of a long, hot, dry summer. It's a cramped, higgledy-piggledy neighbourhood with buildings all made of wood. It doesn't take much for that spark to turn into a fire. And soon, the whole neighbourhood is in flames.
Interestingly enough, I just wanted to mention that buildings in these eras were not as we know them right now, that they're completely straight, from bottom to top. Or, well, we can see, like, for example, the Burj Khalifa, which is the tallest building in the world, which is sort of a huge cone. But generally speaking, if you talk about a squared-based building, they are usually, let's say, straight. In the medieval era, they managed to make buildings where if you head into, the window of the uppermost level of the house, you could even, like, literally shake hands with your neighbor who is on the other side of the street. So houses were very close to each other. They were made out of wood. But yeah, I just think that's a recipe for disaster if a fire starts there.
Add a steady wind, blowing the flames here, there and everywhere, and soon the whole city is ablaze. The Great Fire burned for 4 days. It was a total calamity.
Could you imagine in the medieval era a fire going for 4 days, eating the whole city.
More than 13,000 houses went up in smoke. 90 churches and 44 livery companies were burnt to a crisp. Plus, the fire destroyed the Royal Exchange and St. Paul's Cathedral.
Hold on, that's not St. Paul's Cathedral.
I love the hold on part. And yes, that's actually not St. Paul's Cathedral. The one you visit when you come to London, it's actually a little bit different. It's the new St. Paul's Cathedral. By this time, this was the old one that, as well, the video is explaining it. It was burned down during the Great Fire of London.
It's the old St. Paul's. You're thinking of the new St. Paul's Cathedral, which was built after the Great Fire. The Lord Mayor did not know what to do.
What can I do?
People were running for their lives, taking what they could carry and getting out of the city.
Just for a second, could you imagine just being there in the medieval era with a fire spreading across your city? And I mean, this is quite a crisis, and we might overlook it right now because, like, we have, quality controls that allow us to stop fires in buildings. We don't use such easily flammable material to build as wood. We usually use cement and stones nowadays, but by this time, I mean, they were still using wood. It's just wow.
Finally, King Charles II sent the Duke of York with the army, and they exploded buildings to stop the fire from spreading. The whole city was a ruin. Almost all the buildings were destroyed or damaged. You could see clear across the city from wall to wall.
I mean, this image they're trying to paint with, looking at a distance over the city. I mean, if you've ever been to London, you can definitely picture these buildings and picture the hugeness of such a city. And just knowing that you could see somebody from side to side of the city, it's just, I mean, what?
Despite the destruction, by September the 6th, the city was back at work, and Parliament resolved to rebuild it, bigger and better than before.
Now this looks more like London nowadays. Alright guys, this is actually a very interesting video. I think it's nice to be able to sit and look at this historical event that happened maybe quite some years ago, but honestly, I can truly relate this to, what we're living right now. Richard Branson, one of the greatest entrepreneurs of the United Kingdom, once said, "Do not be embarrassed by your failures. Learn from them and start again." That's precisely what the people of London did when the Great Fire attacked them back in 1666. I really want to encourage everyone to look at this BEO radio episode as an analogy. An analogy where the Great Fire of London of nowadays is not necessarily a fire, but it is definitely an opportunity to outgrow our yesterday self, to outgrow ourselves as a society, and to thrive towards a way better future, not just for you, nor me, but everyone. We, as the youth, have a very, very important responsibility. The future of this world is in our hands, so it is up to us if we rise from the ashes of this Great Fire of London, and it is up to us whether or not we keep on the path of innovation. Thank you so much everyone once again for watching this episode of BEO Radio. It's been a wonderful journey all through this 5 episodes so far. We will see you 2 weeks from now with another great episode for all of you. Do comment below what you think we could do globally, as a whole, to fix this current global situation we're going through. As always, keep posted to our YouTube channel, as we'll be uploading more matches for the BEO Global Face-Off, more talks of the BEO Online International Teacher Summit, and some other surprises that we're getting ready for all of you at home. So thank you once more, and see you next time.